Okay, we are live. I am sorry that I am a few minutes late. A problem happened. So I spilled some cold coffee on my computer, which is really fun. Everything is fine. I unplugged it, I cleaned it, it's good. It was a surface spill. But when I tell you my life flashed before my eyes, I woke up my poor boyfriend, who it's like 8 o'clock in the morning where he is. But everything is fine. And so I thought that today we would talk about White Cane Day because it's White Cane Awareness Day. And I think it's also Blindness Awareness Month or something. Not 100% sure. But so that was my day. it was great. Oh, Chris, I'm so glad that you could finally make it too. Okay, so for those of you just tuning in, I spilled cold coffee on my computer. Everything is fine. It was a surface spill. I have a keyboard cover on my keyboard, so it mainly got on that. But I panicked and cleaned everything, did a time machine backup. Everything is fine. We're here. Oh, all right. So, White Cane Day, which is today. And because of COVID times, everything is happening virtually. I don't know about you guys, but my state here in Massachusetts, they're doing a Zoom meeting tomorrow for it. That's what you get for buying Starbucks. You know what? That's one of the things we're going to talk about here today. If you looked at the title, is that Aira is adding access locations to Starbucks in Boston and a few other cities, which is really great for me because I'm moving from Boston in like 2 weeks from today. So that's really fun. No, seriously, I think it's a good idea. I'm glad that they finally went about doing this. I actually got it emailed to me. It was forwarded to me yesterday, actually, on like an email list. And I think that it was embargoed until today. So I don't know how that happened, but I think it's great. I haven't looked at the actual locations that the access offer is being presented at. If you hear noise in the background, that's Fawn. She found her favorite toy. So I haven't looked at the locations that it's being, tested at. But I think that this is really good because in the location that I go to here in town, they removed the social distancing markers on the floor. Some of you may have seen that on my Twitter. I posted about it yesterday and today. I actually asked one of the employees about it, and he said, I don't know. My manager did that. It's store policy. And I'm like, oh, that's lovely. Huh. So I really think that that's great for those of you who are able to use the offer. Since I'm like not actually in Boston, like I'm a little bit outside the city, I don't even know if there are stores around me that have the offer activated. And since I'm moving to Virginia in a couple of weeks, that's not one of the areas that the offer is available at. But I do know a couple of people who have used it, which is really great. And I believe, according to the release that they put out on their website, they are having it so you can only use the offer for up to, like, you can have access for up to 30 minutes. So it's not like unlimited access. And if there's anybody from Aira like watching this right now in the chat, I'm just wondering why. I'm assuming it's because you guys are testing it to see how it works. But I'm looking at the. All right, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share this tab with you guys. I have the press release up in another Chrome tab. I'm using StreamYard today again, so we're doing great. Share screen, Chrome tab. This one. Share. All right. So it says here, is there a limit to how long somebody can use Aira at Starbucks? And it says you can use Aira for up to 30 minutes with this promotion. So again, I'm curious as to why that is a thing. What can Aira be used for while at Starbucks? You can use Aira for any number of tasks while at Starbucks, including reading and store information, finding amenities such as the order counter, a table, or the restroom, social distancing in the line, which now that they've removed the markers from, I mean, I don't know if it's all stores, but at least the one that I go to, and finding Starbucks staff, finding Starbucks itself, and more. So that's really it. It's like a short and sweet thing telling you about the promotion. It is available, if I can find it. All right. It is available in the following cities: Baltimore, Boston, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, New York City, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. You can view the list of participating locations in the Aira app. Oh, there's a link to view the participating locations? Well, that's helpful. Huh. All right. Well, I'm going to paste that link in chat if anybody's interested. There we go. I love Aira. I just wish the plans were cheaper. You are not the only one. I did a stream a while ago talking about their changes to the free tier offer, and I think it is a good change. I just I'm going to reiterate what I said in that stream a while ago. I think they maybe should have done that from the get-go, but that is just my opinion. That kind of falls in line with them limiting the free tier recently. Just guessing though. Yeah, okay. I think you're right too. I definitely agree with that. You would be correct. The reason it's only 30 minutes is because it's a test. Oh, cool. I thought so. Thank you for answering my question. So hopefully if this goes well, it will be expanded ideally and be more in line with the unlimited offers that are available at other retail locations. So because of COVID, I know that at least the store that I go to, I'm sure that it's the same as other ones, that they're not really letting people sit and eat inside if there is indoor seating. I haven't done it. I've only done mobile orders and gone in and gotten my drink, or I've been in a car and gone through the drive-through. But I have no desire to eat inside personally. And where I am, it's starting to get colder out. So, but in terms of, the seating and the amenities and things like that, everything is behind plexiglass, like all of their extra condiments like sugars and whatever. And as far as I'm aware, there's no indoor seating. But I do think this is a really great offer, and I'm a little surprised they weren't able to do this sooner. But I don't work for Aira, so I don't know. But honestly, since today is White Cane Day, I think that it was a really great time for them to be able to launch this. And I am glad for everybody who's able to access it. I just wish that I could, but that's okay. I just realized I'm still sharing my screen. We're going to stop that. Oh, goodness. Anyway. So, White Cane Day. I updated the description of this video to have the links to the White Cane laws by state. Well, not necessarily the links. There's a webpage on the ACB website that lists the White Cane law by state. If you can't find that link in the description for some reason, I will paste it in chat. And there we go. So last year, for any of you who were still watching this channel at that point, I actually went into Boston and did a travel, follow me around vlog, because I was invited to speak at the State House for the White Cane thing that they were doing. So there was somebody reading the proclamation. Myself and 2 other cane users got our chance to speak to a room full of people about our cane and blindness and everything. And obviously, because of COVID, everything is virtual. And as far as I'm aware, I don't know if there are guest speakers happening at the one that Massachusetts is doing tomorrow. All I know is it's a Zoom link. with our Commission for the Blind. I'm going to shut the door to my room because the dog squeaking her ball is a little distracting. I don't think you guys can hear it, but I can. So I don't know really what is happening with tomorrow's event, to be honest. I didn't read the description, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go because everything is chaos right now. I'm literally moving in 2 weeks. We're packing. It's nuts. They should add access locations to Dunkin' Donuts as well. You know what? You're right. That's a good point. So where I am, Dunkin's is everywhere because like it's headquartered here in Massachusetts, so it's all over New England. And I think as you get farther away, there are obviously Dunkin's locations. They're just fewer and farther between. But I am a little surprised that they didn't that they did Starbucks first. I'm assuming it was just easier to get the partnership with them than it was with Dunkin's. Who knows? Like, I mean, I honestly, I'm just making assumptions. I don't know what I'm doing. But oh, what was I saying? White Cane Day. So, it's here. It's happening. We're blind. We use canes. I honestly, so the head, I'm sure I can talk about this. Nobody's told me I haven't been able to, but the head of the O&M department for my state's Commission for the Blind had contacted me and asked if I would be interested in doing a video with her on street crossings at audible pedestrian signals for White Cane Day. So we filmed this last week. Obviously, it was outside. We were socially distanced. There was a guy there with a professional camera from like local news. And it, was just me walking across the street a few times at pedestrian signals. And then we were going to try and do a street crossing without a pedestrian signal, but there wasn't enough time and it was very windy and it was just whatever, time constraints. So I know that she wanted to try and get that done for the White Cane Day thing tomorrow, but obviously since that just happened like about a week ago, and I haven't heard anything from her or the guy since, I don't think that's going to be ready for tomorrow because they also have to describe it for future use. So I'm interested if any of you guys are living in areas where they're going to be doing anything for White Cane Day. And also I'm really interested to see what the virtual things are going to be about because like since everything is on Zoom nowadays, you can only really do so much in a virtual environment versus in person. Let's see. Partnering with them on the company side is very expensive. Starbucks most likely got it first because they are more a wealthy company. But again, I'm just guessing. You might be right. Also, I don't know the process of going about getting a partnership with Aira to be an access location. Now, I only have Troy. Hello. Oh my goodness. How are you? Troy is the new CEO at Aira. He says in chat, our mission is to provide service to all brands, e.g. Dunkin'. So hopefully that will be coming soon. One can only hope. What exactly is White Cane Day? So there is a law in, I don't know if it's all states, but most, that is basically like a person with a white cane crossing the street is has the right of way as a pedestrian, more so because like they're blind. Let me read the actual proclamation for Massachusetts. Find it. There we go. All right. I'm also going to share this Chrome tab with you guys. So screen share, Chrome tab. This one, not that one. No, not that one. This one. Okay, I have too many tabs open. This is a problem. Share. All right, we're good. We are in Massachusetts. All right, it says here, state law and penalty 14-90-14A, protection of blind pedestrians crossing. Am I reading the right one? Yeah. Protection of blind pedestrians. Hello, I can talk. Crossing or attempting to cross ways whenever a totally blind or partially blind pedestrian guided by a guide dog or carrying a raised or extended position, a cane or walking stick, which is white in color or white tipped with red. Okay, a sidebar here. That's very specific. I understand that the usual colors of a cane are white or white and red. However, I know quite a few people in my friend circle who have gotten fun, like pink and purple and orange colored canes that they use. But anyway, we're going to read this here. White tipped with red crosses or attempts to cross a way. The driver of every vehicle approaching the place where such pedestrian is crossing or attempting to cross shall bring his vehicle to a full stop, and therefore proceeding shall take such precautions as I'm using screen magnifier, so I'm having an issue, as may be necessary to avoid injuring such pedestrian. A person who owns an animal shall restrain and control such animal on a leash when in proximity to a guide dog that is on a public or private way. Nothing contained in this section shall be construed to deprive any totally or partially blind person not carrying such a cane or walking stick or not being guided by a dog of the rights and privileges conferred by law upon pedestrians. This is long. Crossing ways, nor shall the failure of such blind person to carry a cane or a walking stick be guided by a guide dog while in the ways of this Commonwealth be held to constitute or or be evidence of contributory negligence. Whoever violates any provision of this section shall be punished by a fine of no less than $100, no more nor more than $500. And then we have a link here that goes to malegislature.gov. So from the driver's manual, pedestrians. You must always yield to pedestrians who are in a roadway. Also note these rules concerning pedestrians. And there's one bullet point. Always yield to visually impaired blind people crossing a street. You must remain stopped until the person has safely crossed. Do not honk or wave the person on. Never pass another vehicle which is stopped. Blind pedestrians may use a white cane or a guide dog. The white cane law states that a driver must come to a complete stop when a blind pedestrian is crossing a street. Okay. Like I said, that is pretty much the same for other states, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong. But basically, car coming up, you waiting to cross, car has to stop and let you cross, is layman's terms. And if they don't do that, they get fined big time. So I've actually been in situations where cars have not yielded to me and have honked at me and have almost hit me, both with my cane and with my guide dog when she was working. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know this is a constant issue in the blind community, which is probably why there is this law. And I posted that link up in chat earlier. I'm going to paste it again to the page on ACB that has all the white cane laws. And if you want to do your own research, probably just Google white cane law. It will bring up a bunch of resources. This is such chill content. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Hi, Leah. I'm doing well, thanks. I hope you're doing good as well. I will post some details about how anybody can help drive an access partnership here in a few moments. Thank you, Troy. I think that'll be really helpful for people in chat because I know that there are a few people in the community who want to try and get access more locations, especially, you know, with COVID and with social distancing. I think that it's really important to be able to have that assistance if you need it. I mean, like anecdotally, and thank you, by the way, for saying this is a great broadcast. I really appreciate that. But anecdotally, I have not really been out that much, but I've gone to the store a few times. I've gone to Walmart like twice. And it can be a little disorienting following the markers on the floor and in the aisles and the little arrows and the little colors. And it's just, and not even for a person with low vision, but like also sighted people I've seen just completely disregard them. Hi, Jasmine. So it's just like, I don't know. But anyway, social distancing is another topic for another time. What a world to live in where basic manners needs to be laws. So sorry you have to go through such hardships. You're awesome. Thank you. Yeah. I've done videos in the past also about guide dog discrimination in terms of Uber drivers. I have not personally faced it, but I know quite a few people who have, and I'm sure that I know that there's at least one person right now in chat who also has. And unfortunately, this world was not really like built for blindness in mind. Because, you know, we live in a sighted world. We have to adapt to that as like people with disabilities, not even just blindness, but in general. But also, I feel like there could be a lot more done, especially in terms of infrastructure, to try and accommodate. Because, like, what was it? I heard something the other night, some ad. It was actually on ACB radio when I was waiting for their board meeting, and they were talking about the ADA. And like, while that is obviously a very great thing that happened and came into law, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Let's see. In the process, yeah. In the process of buying a car because of the rideshare issues, I am very interested to hear your experience with that. So I'm assuming, and you don't have to answer this now, but I'm assuming that you going through the process of buying a car, that you would also hire somebody to drive, which, like, again, I commend you. Okay, listen, I did a video last year about me not like blatantly, but kind of indirectly calling out Molly Burke because she wanted to buy a car to like negate all of the Uber denials that she has gotten. And I was frustrated when I saw the video that she did because that's not an answer to the problem. Only because she has the sort of platform where she could be using it to advocate a little more for these issues. But if you have the money to buy a car, please go ahead and do it. Like, I don't want you to stop living your life. Like, that's amazing because cars are expensive and gas is expensive, and so is car insurance and everything that comes with it. But there is still going to be service dog denials going on. Actually, speaking of Uber, one of the things that you can do, and I'm pretty sure this is true with Lyft as well, is you can link your Aira account to your Lyft and Uber accounts, and the agent can help you with that process, like identifying the car, making sure it's the right driver and the right vehicle and everything. And if you're having, I think, I don't know 100%, please correct me if I'm wrong, but if you are having like issues booking a ride, I think they might be able to help that as well, because I know somebody has experienced a problem with, and I'm assuming this is iOS 14. I don't think this is, or maybe it's just an Uber thing, but Uber has this new thing now where you have to check off that you are wearing a face covering and like that you're healthy or whatever in order to get into an Uber during the booking process. And I was with somebody who was booking an Uber, and VoiceOver was having a lot of issues with that step of the process. Now, like, we didn't call anybody for sighted help. I was just able to take their phone and do it for them. But it's a checkbox that you have to get through. Otherwise, it won't let you confirm the ride, even though VoiceOver tells you that there's a confirm ride button. It doesn't tell you that it's grayed out. It doesn't tell you there's a checkbox or anything to hit. It just says, I am wearing a face covering. I will open the window. I will do this. Like, these 3 things that you have to like check off that you're doing before you can book the ride. And I don't, because I don't use VoiceOver, I don't know if that is a new problem with iOS 14 or if that's a problem with an Uber update or if that's just some weird voiceover thing. But if none of you have experienced that, or if you guys haven't booked an Uber recently with the COVID guidelines, I would be wary of that if you are a voiceover user, because that seemed to be an issue for not only this individual, but I think others as well. So, I mean, I don't know, again, if it's an iOS thing or if it's an Uber thing, but just letting you guys know that there's like an extra step to go through now with booking an Uber, and voiceover may or may not work with it. iOS 14 is nuts. Yeah, I like it, but again, I don't use voiceover with my phone. I usually use the Zoom feature or just like large text. So I haven't really had any accessibility issues with it. But I've been saying they need to update that. Have you had that issue too, Leah? Because like I know this person that I was with, he was trying to book a ride for 10 or 15 minutes and it just wasn't working because voiceover didn't tell him that there was a thing that he had to press to continue, like to be able to actually confirm the ride. And I mean, I haven't asked anybody since then because I forgot about it. This was a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know if there's been an update to the Uber app. I haven't used Uber since last year. But again, like that's just another thing that you guys should be wary about. I feel kind of bad because after a while I stopped filling out the Federation's rideshare survey. They asked for information that in the moment was kind of hard to get. Is there a rideshare survey that was going out by NFB? Is it still happening? Because, like, I never knew about that. And I don't think ACB did anything like that I'm aware of. But I'm interested to hear more about this rideshare survey. I'm assuming it's for people with guide dogs? Or is it just like anybody who's blind using a rideshare service? Because I don't know. Anyway. So what I also wanted to do, which I thought of earlier while watching Blind Press's stream, she did like a 2-year anniversary of her coffee stream Q&A sort of, is I also wanted to turn this into a Q&A. This is this week's video, by the way. I did film a video yesterday, but I haven't edited it yet or even like taken it off of the SD card and put it onto my computer. So that will go up next week. Because I'm still in the process of trying to pack and do all this nonsense. This changes by state. Oh, wait. I've been saying that they need to update that. This changes by state. What changes by state? The Federation took Uber to court. Yes, I remember the Federation took Uber to court. Survey on how they keep up with whether Uber has been complying with the terms of the settlement. Oh, that survey. I remember that. Yes. Now I know what you're talking about. Are they still in a lawsuit or is that done? I could probably Google this, but I'm just going to ask you guys. According to my friend Joey, who is watching with me, there's no checkbox asking if you are wearing a face covering with Lyft. I know there is with Uber because I literally saw that like on this individual's app, like when he was going through the booking the ride process. He had already selected the pickup and destination, and then after he did that to continue, there was a thing that came up. It was like a COVID like alert. I don't know what the heck, but it was like these 3 steps that you had to read, and it was like a thing you had to check off saying that you would comply with them. And then you couldn't confirm the ride until after you did that. I thought it's different by state. What's different by state? The Uber thing or the white cane or the rideshare survey? The Uber thing? The Uber thing might be different by state because like I'm in Massachusetts and our COVID cases have been rising recently because it's getting cold and people are going indoors more. But I mean, I thought that it would just be like an Uber thing because I only know what I've seen from Uber. I haven't used Lyft ever, I don't think. But yeah, actually, that's interesting. Let me Google this. And let me close these like 3 other Chrome tabs that I have open. Also, I'm going to paste that link again for the list of Starbucks access locations for Aira in chat, and I'm going to update the description as well. Here we go, Starbucks. I don't see the markers. I'm so lost in this world. You know what? Me too. I went somewhere yesterday where I was paying by card, and the plexiglass is different everywhere, I've noticed, where the little space at the bottom is not always the same height depending on where you go. So I was just like freaking putting my hand on the stupid glass because I didn't know where it ended. But it was fine. So it's just fun. Okay. Partners purchase and deploy Aira because they want to serve this community. That is true. However, Aira is a new category service, and our biggest challenge is reaching senior management so we can share the benefits. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I actually remember I demoed Aira last year when I went to Apple for something. When I say Apple, I mean like an Apple store to buy something or to do something. And I had Aira open. I was talking to like one of the people who worked there, and I demoed it. Like I used the demo offer, and there was some guy who came over who used to work in accessibility at Apple, I guess, and he knew a lot about it, and he was like fascinated by it. But that makes sense that it would that there's obviously a step process to go through for making various places partner locations. Let's see, where anybody can help is either with advocacy on social platforms, e.g. tweeting that you'd like to see at Aira at #brand, or by visiting aira.io partners and contacting Aira via email link. Okay, so if any of you want to make anything an Aira access location, do what Troy said. Tweet at Aira on Twitter at Aira.io. That is AIRAIO, because VoiceOver pronounces it Aira. And use like a hashtag for a brand or a place that you want to see it at. Or you can go to the link that he mentioned, which is aira.io/partners. There's no way to pin things in chat because I'm not on Discord right now. I'm in YouTube. Okay. So off topic, but I thought you might find it cute that my dog is following our robot vacuum around the house currently. The dogs are strange. Oh, that's adorable. We don't have a robot vacuum. I kind of wouldn't mind getting one. However, I don't know how Fawn would react to it. Oh, thank you, Troy. I'm glad that you were able to stop by, and I really appreciate the information that you shared because I still don't know what's happening half the time with Aira. So Fawn saw a hoverboard one time, like the hoverboards, like the Segway things, and she thought it was like, I don't know what she thought of it. She kept looking at it like inquisitively, but I'm sure that she would follow the Roomba around too, because like that sounds like something that she would do. That's really cute. You both have guide dogs, right? You and your partner. That's like I think that's correct. What was I gonna say? For those of you who missed the white cane law by states thing, I'm also going to put it in chat. So I don't know if you guys saw, but ACB canceled their 2021 convention. Well, okay, they didn't cancel it. They made it virtual in the best interest of the members, which I agree. It is in the best interest of the membership. However, I'm still completely devastated by it. And for those of you who are in NFB, do you think they're going to do the same thing? Because ACB made this decision with like 9 months before convention so they could have more time to plan a virtual convention, because our convention was supposed to be at the end of July next year. So they did it with going virtual completely in 2021, and then the commitment to have a hybrid in 2022. which is going to be in Omaha, Nebraska. I've never been to Omaha, but I guess I'm going to go. How long have you had your dog? I got her in 2015. She is my retired guide dog. So I got her from Guide Dog Foundation. I trained with her. I worked with her for about a year and a half, and she had to retire early because she got very distracted by other dogs to the point where it had become a safety concern. And I was very disappointed, obviously, at the time. Like, this was quite a few years ago, so I feel better about it now. But it is nobody's fault. Guide Dog Foundation did a really great job at working with me. The trainers were all fantastic. Like, they had a very good support system. And I was able to keep her. So now she is the family pet. And in terms of getting another guide dog, because I get this question asked a lot, I hope to get one in the future, but not now, and especially not now because of everything that's going on in the world. I don't even know if they're doing classes. I know I have a friend, Gabby, who she's been on stream with me before. She's going through the process actually of applying for a guide dog from them. But I haven't really been keeping up with the schools, so I don't know which ones are really open for training and which ones are not, because I know Guide Dog Foundation is still training their dogs, but I don't know if they're actually holding classes. I think I think I could be wrong, but I thought I saw something about them doing a home placement a while ago, but again, I don't know. I know that Southeastern has been placing dogs, I think, because I follow them on Facebook. But again, I don't know if that's home training or what. So I don't know actually what the current state of guide dog schools is because of COVID. I know Leader Dogs is still training dogs because I know somebody who is a trainer there. But in terms of actually like placing them and having classes, I don't know what's happening because they're all over the country and not all of them do home placement. I'm horrible. I don't get into the political side of blindness. You know what? That's fine. You don't have to. I know a lot of people who are not members of either ACB or NFB. I was a member of NFB a long time ago for like a year. I went to one event for them. I've talked about it in the past, but I personally prefer ACB. I feel like they have a bit more of a welcoming community there versus some of the things that I've seen on NFB, like from my involvement and from people that I know who have been involved in their organization, but I believe it also differs by state. Here in Massachusetts, our ACB and NFB affiliates get along fairly well, actually. They've often signed legislation together and been sponsors in events together and blah, 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 what have you, but I know that's not the same for everybody. My boyfriend, who he lives in Hawaii, he was on a stream with me a while ago where we kind of talked about this. He said that it's the exact opposite in his state where they don't get along. They're state affiliates, and I believe it's the same other places as well, from what I've heard. They may, but I don't think they will say anything till like January. And the New York one is, my friend is there. Okay, there are 3 guide dog schools in New York. Which one are you talking about? There's Freedom, Guiding Eyes, and Guide Dog Foundation. I can only speak for Guiding Eyes, but it's mainly home placement right now. That's what I thought. I know that Guide Dog Foundation would only do home placement for your first dog in a special circumstance, but this was 5 years ago, and I'm assuming that with COVID, things may have changed. I know that if you got a successor dog from them, if you wanted home placement, they were more likely to honor that. But I would think that now they may be a little more lax, especially because Guide Dog Foundation has trainers kind of like all around everywhere, like as field reps. So I feel like that they're a little bit more capable than possibly some of the other schools to get out and possibly do home placements or do aftercare. But like I can only speak from my experience with Guide Dog Foundation. I missed a comment. Okay, yeah, that's crazy that they're making events for 2021 virtual already. I live tweeted the board meeting. There was one guy on the board who was vehemently opposed to it, and I can see where he was coming from. And nobody wanted to make that decision to have it virtually. However, nobody knows like what is going to happen with COVID, if there's going to be a vaccine by then, and if there is a vaccine, if everybody is able to get it by then. And even if they were able to do a smaller convention, the issue is that I just want to like take a moment to talk about this. The issue is that they paid for a contract with the hotel, which is what was brought up in the board meeting. All of this was said publicly, so I feel like it's okay for me to repeat it. They have a contract with the hotel. They had to pay in advance for room blocks and for food and beverage because they're holding an event. And I've been involved with my state convention committee with planning past conventions where we have had it at hotels. Our convention this year, we were not having it at a hotel. We were supposed to have it at a nonprofit location. However, obviously it was moved virtually because that was back in March. But the thing with ACB is that even if they did hold it in person and like barring whatever would happen in the future, there's a good chance that a lot of people would not be comfortable going to it because of the current state of things, like if there was a vaccine or COVID or whatever. And if they didn't get the numbers, then they wouldn't be able to fill their room blocks. And Seeing Eye is in New Jersey. I just want to say that right now, because you said that you were talking about Seeing Eye, Tony, and Seeing Eye is in New Jersey. The organizations are going to save a lot of money from this, at least. So the funny thing is ACB lost $310,000 because they had to put that much of a deposit down on the hotel. That's enough to buy a house. Just want to make the comparison. I'm not bashing their decision to go virtual. While I don't like it and nobody else likes it, it's what had to be done because everything is so unknown. But the issue, like I was saying, is that even if they did hold it in person, there's a good chance they wouldn't get everybody to fill the rooms. They have to pay for those rooms anyway. Same with food and beverage, is that if not enough people came, they wouldn't sell enough food and beverages because they have their own pop-up sort of cafe that, they would have to pay for that stuff anyway. And they do outdoor excursions, like outside of the hotel tours. None of that was booked or anything for Phoenix for 2021. So I don't think they're losing money on that. I think that's what they said on the board call. They aren't refunding it. So because of the contract they have with the hotel, they had to put down the deposit. I hate COVID too. I really do. They had to put down the deposit for all of these things with the hotel, for the event space, the food and drink, and the room blocks. And I don't think they're being refunded because they said on the board meeting that they're losing that amount of money. However, they also said on the board meeting that Hyatt offered them a multi-year contract for Jacksonville and Dallas. So the hotel that was supposed to be happening in Phoenix was a Hyatt. And I thought they were supposed to be going back to Schaumburg in 2022 because we were supposed to have it there this year, but they're still doing Omaha because everything has to be planned like 2 or 3 years in advance. So they're going to Schaumburg in 2023, but I don't know if that's going to affect everything here with this contract they were offered by the Hyatt. So the reason why they pulled out of it was because they at this point in time, was because they wanted to be able to better negotiate the contract with the Hyatt if they wanted to have a multi-year deal with that hotel chain. So not necessarily like what the NFB did, where they had all of their conventions in Orlando for 10 years at that hotel, but like with Hyatt at various locations around the country because it moves every year. And I think that will hopefully be a good thing because like it might end up having a reduction in room rates. Because the convention, you get a room reduction anyway for the cost because you're doing a group rate. And then sometimes sponsors will give you more of a reduction. I know that Aira has done that in the past, last year in 2019 when it was in New York. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens going forward. especially because they have made a commitment. ACB has made a commitment to have a hybrid in-person and virtual convention in 2022. And one of the things, so they talked about, I know I'm going on about this for a long time, and please like stop me if you don't want to hear it anymore, but they talked about a post-convention survey. They do these every year, and it was sent out after the virtual convention, which everything was held via Zoom. So this survey was sent out via email, and a lot of people answered it, and they got a lot of positive feedback from the first-time attendees, because there are a lot of members who are unable to attend convention in person for various reasons, not just because of being able to afford it, but they might be ill, or they might just not have access to be able to attend in-person convention, or they might whatever. So doing it virtually was like a good opportunity to get more members involved, and I'm all for doing it virtually. I think that they should have done it virtually a long time ago, especially in the current climate that we are in. My state affiliate has been doing hybrid conventions via Zoom for a couple of years now, I think, where, you know, we've had it in person, and then there has been a virtual component where people could call in via a Zoom link, via phone or the Zoom app or whatever, and attend that way. And so now, because everything is on Zoom, it's, you know, it makes things a little easier. But I also think they need to kind of like teach people how to use Zoom more, because not everybody knows how to use it. And especially if you are a person who's blind and trying to use a screen reader with a piece of technology that you don't know how to use, if it's an app or a website or whatever, it can be a little disorienting at first. Plus, not everybody knows if they're muted all the time or if they have their camera on or whatever, which is an issue that we're seeing everywhere now because everything is virtually. But that's going off topic. So I'm very interested to see if NFB decides anytime soon about their format for the next year's convention, because I'm honestly surprised that ACB was deciding this quickly. They said they wanted to get it done this quickly because of the contract, but also because they could have more time to plan a virtual convention instead of what happened this year where they had to cancel it. Let me see, March, April, May, June, July, like 4 months out, and they only had 3 or 4 months to plan a virtual convention when everything had been planned to happen in person. I didn't go to virtual convention. I chose not to. I talked about this previously. And my boyfriend went, though. He said it was fine, but he's also 6 hours behind time zones. So he didn't get as much out of it, he said, as he would have liked because of all the time difference. COVID needs to be, yeah, you know what? COVID does, COVID needs to blow it. Yeah, COVID needs to leave. It's just awful. Oh my God. You know, 2020 has been weird and terrible at the same time, obviously, for everybody. Some of you may know I'm not working due to COVID. I'm now in the process of moving to another state with the pandemic still happening. And I haven't been able to see my boyfriend since last year because neither one of us are exactly like wanting to get on a plane anytime soon. So I know there are people who have it much worse than I do. But honestly, I'm just doing what I can to not get sick and to not pass the virus on to my family or anybody that I know. This was supposed to be a stream about blindness, and now we got into COVID. Oh my goodness. So question for the chat. If you use Aira, are you going to be trying it at Starbucks? And if you don't use Aira, are you going to be downloading it and trying it at Starbucks? Because I think that that's a good way to start, is to download the app. It's free. It's available on iOS and Android. Bring it to an access location and try it that way. Because then you can use it at that access location, and then you're able to, especially in the Starbucks thing, I'm assuming provide feedback, because I know here in Boston, when they had it as a pilot with our public transit, there were surveys that went out to provide feedback. But the more people who use it, the more they'll be like, hey, this is actually a good thing, and possibly extend it. So, I mean, I really recommend you guys at least downloading Aira and trying it out. If you don't know what Aira is, because I know there are some sighted people in here and some people who just probably don't know. It is a visual interpreter service. It's an app. Oh my God, my dog scared me. She's barking. You call in via app, and it's like a one-way video call. And the person on the other end is an employee at Aira who is trained to assist people who are blind or visually impaired. And they can see what your phone's camera can see. So they're able to give you visual information about things that are around you. And they're also able to take pictures for you and describe them. And they can team viewer into your phone if you're having an issue. They can team viewer into your computer if you're having an accessibility issue. There are other offers you can use it for, such as job seeking and things like that. I really don't like Starbucks. That's okay. You don't have to use it at Starbucks. You don't have to go to Starbucks. There are other offers that you can use it for. I know that there are some college campuses that are access locations. Let's see. It's terrible that COVID has been responsible for the largest jump in. Is it terrible that COVID has been responsible for the largest jump in subscribers and content? Why can't I read this? And channel exposure that I've ever seen. You know, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's actually a really good thing, because a lot of people are staying home and trying to find content to watch that they enjoy. I was planning on streaming Animal Crossing throughout this pandemic because I have Animal Crossing, but I tried that and it didn't work. And I'm almost positive it was the capture card, because I joined a stream in chat, not actually joining the stream. I went to chat that James Rath was doing a stream on Twitch a few weeks ago about Fortnite or something, and he was talking about his experience with the Elgato HD60S, and he has had a lot of issues streaming with it. And I also experienced a lot of issues streaming with it. And I know that that is like one of the most common capture cards used. However, streaming Switch games can be kind of hard. Yes, you are 100% right. It is definitely hard because there are like 5 pieces of software that you have to use. It's like, and hardware. It's the Switch docked, connected to a monitor, connected to a computer, connected to a capture card with cables everywhere. And then you have to use OBS or something to actually stream it, which wouldn't be as bad if the capture card worked. I could go on and on. It took me 3 days and constant Googling to try and figure things out. And my main issue was with audio. Was with like the audio levels not being the way that I wanted it to. When is the move? Because I thought it was supposed to be this month, right? 2 weeks from today. Literally in 2 weeks from this day, right now, the movers are coming and we are leaving to go to Virginia. And it's really fun because the movers might not actually be to our new house for a week because they have to take everything to Boston, unpack it, inventory it, put it back in the truck, and bring it down to Virginia, which apparently is going to take 5 to 7 days. So luckily, we have family down there, which is half the reason why we're moving, most of the reason why we're moving. And we're able to stay with them, which is good. I do not want to move. I have been saying this the whole time. I knew that this move was happening. I just did not expect that I would have to be a part of it. However, due to COVID and things being the way they are right now, it is what it is. But I think that it will be fine. It's not too bad here. I know. You're actually not going to be that far from me, which is good. But I'm going to miss Massachusetts. I mean, I'm going to be here during the summer, possibly, all things depending. I don't know what we're doing about Christmas. I don't want to come back here for the holidays unless everybody in my family gets a COVID test. And by that, I mean like my extended family, because there are a lot of people. Oh my God. I'm sorry. If any of you guys follow Shay on Twitch, Shaysters, she just sent me a picture of these cookies. Like, she texted it to me, and they look delicious. I think they're pumpkin because she posted about it on Twitter. But I was talking to my father about this earlier because I have a large extended family on my mother's side, and there are a couple of family members who are more immunocompromised than others, and we're just concerned, which is why we canceled Thanksgiving. So I'm going to be in Virginia for Thanksgiving. None of you probably care about this, but so I don't know. My uncle does still want to do the Christmas Eve thing that we do every year, which is a lot of us gathered at his home for Christmas Eve, but it will be very interesting with COVID. I don't think it's going to happen. My friend uses the Pro. You mean the HD60 Pro or the S Pro? I don't know anything about the Elgato cards. All I know is the one I used didn't really work as well as I thought it would, regardless of all of the YouTube setups that I have seen. Time to stream. I hope the rest of yours goes well. Amazing content as always. Thank you, Chris. I hope you have fun streaming. And if you are still streaming when I'm done, I will definitely stop in to watch it. Sorry, Shay texted me again and was talking about the cookies. So there was something I was going to say, and I just completely lost track of it. But anyway, Leah, I know that I saw that you had said everything happens for a reason, and you are definitely right. Everything does happen for a reason. I'm hoping to eventually come back up here, but I don't know how that's going to work. And yeah, after the pandemic, I'll use Aira more. I don't blame you. I know that you could use it for like distance learning. They had a distance learning offer back at the beginning of this. I don't think it's happening still. I don't think that applies to a lot of people in chat because most of y'all are working or not in school. Why do I always have so many Chrome tabs open? But I definitely recommend at least trying Aira. I think it's really a great service. And if you know what Be My Eyes is, basically it's a more encrypted version of that, except the person that you're getting to help you is a legitimate like employee and not some random Joe off the street. Not that I'm bashing Be My Eyes, but I do have a history with Aira, so I do prefer them. I'm a little biased here, definitely. But I'm glad that they're actually doing that Starbucks offer. I think that it'll be great to get more exposure for people who maybe haven't used Aira before, and hopefully can get more access in the future. So, Tony, what Pro are you talking about? Is this a capture card? Like, can you be a little more the HD60 Pro? Okay, I'll look into that. I'm not getting anything until I move. I need to change my my whole setup here. It's an absolute disaster. You wouldn't even. Also, like, everything is in boxes right now, and it's a little disorienting. Which is why, like, if you can see behind me, I had a bunch of stuff on the wall, like, above my bed, like, pictures and whatever. Obviously, all that's gone. Because we had to stage the house and pack everything and yada yada. So I'm probably going to so I haven't seen the house that we're moving into. My parents went down there to look at houses, and they ended up buying one. I didn't go because I didn't want to do the drive, and I just decided to stay here with the dog. So I'm going to possibly do a home tour when I get there, like before we unpack everything. I don't know. I need to see how the moon is, how everything goes. I have used Aira to uninstall something off of my computer. Yeah, that's a really good way to use it for. And if any of you have used Aira for like literally anything, I'm interested to hear about it because there are so many things that you can use it for. I know somebody who used it to help set up their Apple Watch when they got a new Apple Watch, because in order to pair it to your phone, you have to line it up within a viewpoint in your camera, and it can be a little tricky. So they used it for that, and I've used it. Actually, I used it for figuring out how to use the oven at my parents' summer home in Maine when I was cooking something that I got from Trader Joe's. Initially, I just wanted the guy to read the instructions to me, and then he showed me like where all the buttons were and stuff on the oven, because I just hadn't gotten around to doing that, and it was new anyway. So like I just hadn't had the time, but it was really neat to be able to do that independently, because nothing was marked, nothing still is marked, but to be able to do that like independently with somebody on my phone telling me exactly what I was doing and where the buttons were. And I think I've told you guys this story before, what happened in New York last year at the convention. My boyfriend and a friend of mine and I, we were making ramen in the Keurig, and we had an issue with, we didn't know if like the Keurig was working or not, because we had filled it and we didn't know if the water was filled up to the line. And so we all tried to call Aira, but we kept it kept just loading and loading and loading, and we couldn't connect to an agent. And so finally he got an agent. My boyfriend got an agent, and it was working by then. So my friend and I were like screaming that it was working. And he was like, "Oh, thanks for making cup of noodles. Bye." And it's like, God bless the Aira agents for putting up with our nonsense. They're truly angels, honestly. Do you know if Aira would read your mail? Yeah, they do. I know people who've used it for that. The thing with the Aira agents, and I didn't know this until somebody told me, is that they're under NDAs. So the things that you do on the calls are confidential. So that's why they're trusted more, in my opinion. Like I trust them more than opening Be My Eyes. But because of the training and the vetting process that they have to go through and everything, they are definitely able to read your mail and do things like that. So that's great. Hi, Mitchell. How are you? I know that you saw my tweets from the other day about the board meeting. What's your thought on the convention for next year? Gotta go. Great chatting with you, Diana. Good luck on the move. Sending positive thoughts your way. Thanks, Leah. Have a nice afternoon or day, wherever you are. How long of a drive, and thoughts on the 12? Oh, right. iPhone 12 was announced. Okay. Answer to your first question. Drive is like 11 hours, give or take, depending on how long you stop or how much you stop. So what we're doing is we're going and staying somewhere overnight, because by the time the movers leave, it's going to be like probably later in the day, and nobody wants to drive at night. I can't drive, so my parents have to do the driving. And we're just going to stay somewhere overnight, continue our drive the next day, and blah, blah, blah. The iPhone 12. So I have an iPhone 11, which is right here. I have the purple one. And honestly, I'm a little disappointed. I just unlocked my phone with Face ID. We're going to put that away. I'm a little disappointed in the color options. Like, that sounds stupid, but I am. However, I think that it's really cool that they added magnets to the back of the phone, so you could just stick it on a charger like with the watch. However, and I was talking about this with my boyfriend and I think somebody else, I think it's really stupid that they're including a Lightning to USB-C cable, because like not everybody has a device that can use USB-C. And I guarantee you that not everybody has a wall brick that has a USB-C plug into it. Although, wait, no, what I was going to say is wrong. I'm not even going to say it. No, not everybody has a wall brick that can use USB-C. So it's going to be like with the whole, when they remove the headphone jack, you're going to have to get an adapter from USB-C to USB-A. Or you can just use an old lightning cable if you have one already, because it's a lightning connector in the phone. The other end doesn't really matter. Or you'll have to get like a new brick. So the only wall charger I have is my Mac charger. I have actually, do I have a wall brick for my phone? I have this like desk organizer way off camera to my left, and I'm looking at it because I thought that I had a wall brick for my phone, but I don't think I do. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the bricks are USB-A. They're like, I don't know how many wattages, but I almost always, I have a Mophie wireless charger that I bought last year because, like, you know, I have the 11, and I use that a lot because personal note, my boyfriend and I FaceTime a lot at night, like FaceTime audio, and because of the time difference, like usually I'll end up falling asleep, and if my phone needs to be charged, I can't like talk to him and have it be charging at the same time, like with the standard cable, because I need the headphone, like I need to use the lightning connector for the headphones. So I just stick it on the wireless charger. I have a dock behind me on a nightstand that I freaking love. And it can charge my phone and iPad and watch at the same time, or anything with a lightning connector in it, basically. And there's also a USB port on the side of it too, so it can like charge something via USB, which is great. But I think that the 12 is good. The processor looked great. I don't agree with getting. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I think that the Pro model is kind of gimmicky, or the Pro Max rather is kind of gimmicky, because not much is really different about it other than I think they added another camera, and it's like $1,100. I've gone basically all winter in terms of my all wireless in terms of my phone. Why did I read that as winter? Yeah, I use the wireless charging for my phone. I haven't tried it with my watch. I have the Apple Watch 6. I did an unboxing video of that a while ago, but I'm pretty sure it can do wireless charging. I just haven't done it. I just stick it on the little like charger in my dock behind me. But what am I talking about? Of course it can do wireless charging. They showed like a dock thing that Belkin is working on for wireless charging with the whatever. Anyway, so the iPhone 12, to answer your question, I think it looks nice. I'm not impressed with the color options. It's a good thing that they're finally moving in a more wireless direction in terms of charging. I think the magnets are really neat. I'm glad they're bringing MagSafe. I wish they brought MagSafe back to the Mac, but that's a different story. I think the Mini is a good option for people who want to have a smaller phone, like physically smaller phone, but the same processing power as the 12, because that's what it is, right? But I do not see myself getting one because I just got a phone last year and I'm still paying for it every month. I might get a phone next year, depending on how things are. My boyfriend has a 10s Max, and he has the 10s. What am I talking about? I just said he had the 10s Max. He was thinking about getting this year's new iPhone, but he just got an Apple Watch, like his first Apple Watch, the 6, the Nike edition, same as mine, but like the space gray color. And so he's like, I don't need a new iPhone. I think that if you want the new iPhone, go ahead and get it. But I personally will not be getting one because I have a new one. Although, honestly, like them bringing night shift is a different thing. Them bringing night mode to the front camera is kind of a game changer for me, in my opinion, for like selfies and whatever, like in low light. Not that I take a lot of selfies or in low light, but I think that's a really good option for anybody who wants that. And obviously with a new phone, they improved the camera and all that nonsense. But I'm going to wait until next year because I'm sure they're going to do something else to improve upon it. I don't know. I just wasn't too impressed with the phone as much. And I still want them to tell us when we're getting the new macOS update because I'm waiting. And I should also probably start looking at new computers at this point in case this one dies randomly. But how long does your 11 last with Aira? That's a good question. I haven't used Aira. Actually, I haven't used Aira at all with this phone. When I was using Aira, I still had my 6S. And then I got this phone and I haven't used it. But I think that from what I've seen, the battery life is a lot better with Aira on the 11 and on the newer phones. I know people who even had like 7s or 7 pluses or whatever that were using Aira, and they said their batteries were draining like crazy. I had that issue with the 6S, but my battery was already awful. So I still have the 8 Plus. So how is your battery life with Aira? That's honestly a really good battery test, the Aira iPhone battery test. You know what, Mitchell, you're right. I'm not really one to try that right now because I really don't know what I would use Aira for in this moment. Probably when I move. You know what? I'm going to do that when I move. When I move, and I'm probably going to forget this, so I'm going to have to remind myself. But when I do move, I am definitely going to be trying Aira on my 11 and do a battery test with it. Now, since I have the free plan still, I only get like 5 free minutes every 24 hours, which is fine because I really don't need that much unless I go to an access location. But now I'm going to have to look up access locations because I'm going to be in a different state. Yeah, my 7 drained in like 50 minutes. Yeah, my 6S was almost constantly plugged into a charger. I have gotten so off topic in this stream. It's really cracked and I have to get a new one, lol. So, are you going to get the 12 or an older model? Honestly, listen, here's my humble opinion. I know they just released the new phones and they're going to be releasing them for order in tiers because like this is how it is now. I know that the 12 and the Pro I think are being released at the same time, like for pre-order tomorrow. And the Mini and the Pro Max are being released for pre-order on November 6th or whatever. But if you need a new phone and if you can't get the 12 for whatever reason, just get an 11 or get like a 10R or a 10 or whatever. Because like, I mean, listen, I've used my 11 constantly since I got it. What's my battery health at? Let me see here. Battery health. All right, so I'm at 91% maximum capacity. I've had my phone for a year and 1 month, roughly. So granted, I do a lot of stupid stuff with my phone. Like I'm constantly playing games. I constantly have it, like, you know, I use wireless charging on it, which I know drains battery. But I'm also in an area with crappy cell reception a lot of the times. And the Wi-Fi, not here, but the Wi-Fi when I'm in Maine is awful, which is why I usually don't stream from Maine. So I know that I think that also drains the battery a lot. But I don't know. Yep, I'm still paying off my Pro and I need a new Mac myself, but money, yeah, I feel that. I really want, you know, my Mac is fine. It's like a 2015 MacBook Pro Retina, and it's fine. But since I spilled cold coffee on it earlier, I'm a little concerned. It was a surface spill though, like I said, so I'm sure it's fine. And I cleaned it, so it's fine. Vlogging T drive. Tony, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you please be more specific? Everyone is telling me to get an 11. Yeah, I like the 11 personally. I had, like I said, I had a 6S. I upgraded to the 11. I think it was a great upgrade, especially if you are low vision because the screen is bigger. So I've found that to be helpful. And there's like the wide angle camera and the magnifier option for your camera, which is available on other phones as well. But I prefer it, honestly. A lot of people are like, oh, no home button, which is a valid argument. But at the same time, it only takes you a couple of hours of fiddling with it, not really to get used to the gestures. And it guides you through all of like what to do during the setup process. There are plenty of blind people who have iPhone 10s and 11s, and it's fine. So I would not be concerned about it. I did use my phone in the past to vlog, though. Last year when I went to the State House thing for White Cane Day, that was all shot on my phone because I didn't want to bring my camera. That link is in the description of this video. And I swear I thought that I had Nightbot enabled for this chat, but it is not, which I just realized, and we're like an hour and a half into streaming, but that's fine. I just want a small phone. The mini is definitely the one for me. I think the mini is really great. I'm not knocking the mini. I'm used to like this phone, like this size. Yeah, I know you're not looking at my face, you're yelling at me. So I think that going back to a smaller phone would just be a little, I don't know. I just wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't like it. And like I said, like I'm used to the screen size. I have dynamic text turned on, so everything is big and bold, and I can see it, and it's great. Versus like on a smaller screen, that can be a little more difficult. But I mean, if you have like no vision and you are using voiceover, then that really won't make any much of a difference. Did you mean vlogging the drive? Is that like what you meant? Because like the drive to Virginia? Because I don't know. It's literally gonna be me in the car playing Animal Crossing most of the time or sleeping. So I don't think you guys are gonna be interested in that. I might do a vlog when we stop overnight at the place that we are stopping at, because I think that would be interesting. And also like if there are any like things that they're requiring us to do because of COVID. I don't think so. But we're going to be staying at a hotel that's pet friendly, obviously, because we have dog and she's not working anymore. Yeah, you did mean vlogging the drive. Also so you have a mid 2012 Air. I need to get back to playing Animal Crossing. Setting up my capture card so I can read the screen. Yeah, so do you watch Shay on Twitch? Because she does that with her game. That's how she plays. She has NVDA read it, and I think that Brandon Cole does that too, Super Blind Man. I could be wrong. My island is probably overrun with weeds now. How long have you not played the game? I went back to spring, to March, to catch cherry blossom petals because they're seasonal, and then I time traveled like to current time. This was like last month in September. My island had so many weeds, and my boyfriend was accidentally time traveling. He went back a month when he went to go back a day, and he went back to current time, and he also had a lot of weeds on his island, but not nearly as much as mine, because I went like quote unquote 5 months without playing the game, because that's what my Switch thought, because I manipulated it. Yeah, that's why I bought it. Yeah, so I have never used that feature because I don't use the screen reader. So I'm interested to actually see like the process of, so like, do you just hook it up to OBS or something and you can have NVDA, like, does NVDA act as an OCR sort of thing where it can read the text? I don't know anything about this. So like people have literally just told me, oh, I use NVDA to read the text in the game. And I'm like, okay, how? Like how do you do that? Also trying to see a smaller screen sucks. Yeah, you're right. Both in terms of the phone and the Switch. I've never played my Switch in docked mode. My dock is packed. So I can't play it in docked mode right now. But when I move, I'm going to try and play it in docked mode, and I want to try and start streaming again because I'll have a better setup, ideally. I think I haven't had luck with it yet. Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely ask Brandon. He is Super Blind Man on all social media, and I think that's how he does it. I know that's how Shay does it. I have a different capture card than everyone else does, so I've got to figure it out. Which capture card do you have? Because I know that Shay doesn't have the Elgato one. She has something else. And I know that James Rath has the HD60S Plus, I think, because he didn't like the regular one. And I don't know about Brandon because I never asked him. So I'm supposed to be talking about blindness, and we're talking about Animal Crossing. Actually, that's a good segue. Somebody on Facebook, because Animal Crossing was on sale yesterday for Prime Day for like $10 off on Amazon. So somebody on Facebook who has very low vision asked me about playing Animal Crossing and like with the amount of vision that they have. And so I just want to explain this a little bit because this is like mixing two things that I'm very passionate about, Animal Crossing and blindness. So it is very much a text-based, dialogue-driven game. I'm just going to pause a second to take a sip of water. It is very much a text-based, dialogue-driven game. And it is kind of like think of like The Sims or Minecraft where there's like no end goal. But you're like a human player and you're surrounded by anthropomorphic animals. And so basically this game is you have to build up this island that you're like dropped on. It's like a deserted island. And in other games, that's pretty much kind of the get-go of it too, except the setting was different. So it is playable if you have no usable vision. If you are low vision, I feel like it's a little more playable. But a lot of people say that it's accessible right out of the box, and 100% it is not. I've actually gotten into arguments with people about this on Twitter, which is so stupid, but it's not. You need an OCR app or to use a screen reader in order to figure out what the heck is going on in the game. And there are, specific sounds that play if you can't, if you're no longer able to move an item or rotate an item, like if something is blocking it, because the main thing is like decorating your island and the inside of your house and talking to your villagers and doing things for your villagers and blah, blah, blah. And so, you can go fishing and you can catch bugs. The fishing thing is a little easier if you are blind and if you have low vision. The bugs thing, not so much, because 90% of them don't make noise. So they're just like flying around all over the place and you don't know where they are. The fishing thing, you could probably just throw your lure in the water and a fish will come up to you and it will make a sound. And if you're playing in handheld mode, you'll get a haptic feedback. If you're playing with a controller that has vibration, it will vibrate. And it will make a specific sound when the fish is on the lure and you'll be able to reel it in. With bugs, a lot of them don't make noise, like I said, so it can be a little more difficult to do that. But I mean, I'm speaking from my personal experience with the game. I really don't know a lot of people who play it who are blind or low vision. I know a few, but I know like people who are low vision who played it. The only people I know who play it are completely blind are Shay and Brandon. And as far as I'm aware, neither of them have played it recently. I could be wrong. But I think it's a very fun and relaxing game. It goes by real time. So if it's, noon in real life, it's noon in the game. Unless you change your time zone or time travel like I do occasionally. But it is not accessible right out of the box. You can definitely make it playable and you can definitely play it. The font, if you are low vision, is easy to read because it's clean. It's a sans serif font. Can I Play That actually did a review, like a blog post on it from a low vision perspective, but they only talked about the first couple of days of gameplay and not anything beyond that. And there were a couple of things that they kind of got wrong in their review. From my experience, let me grab that link for you guys, actually. Speaking of which, yeah, okay, let me grab that link for you guys because I read it a while ago, but I haven't read it again recently, and I linked this friend of mine on Facebook to it. Can I Play That actually is a really great website. It is caniplaythat.com, and it gives various game reviews for various disabilities written by people who have those disabilities. So like the person who did the low vision review is low vision, etc. So here we have that. Fawn needs something. Ankar, you're awake? Good morning. Here's the link to the low vision review for Animal Crossing. Oh my goodness. I've got to go do some homework now. This was fun. I hope you have good luck with your homework, Mitchell. Um, and I'm glad that you were able to stop by. I always see you talking about Animal Crossing on Twitter. I love Animal Crossing. Honestly, like this is going to sound so stupid. I've literally done nothing this quarantine except play Animal Crossing and pack to move. It sounds dumb. I'm ashamed of it a little bit because people have always like, oh, I learned to bake bread or do this thing. And it's like, I played Animal Crossing for 6 months. Um, to be fair, there was a period of time where we had groceries delivered and didn't go anywhere. So I was, and like honestly, there have been shortages of things too, and I'm still seeing shortages of some things. I went to the store a couple of weeks ago, and toilet paper was $11 for like a pack of toilet paper. So that's happening again. I think I said this previously, but the COVID cases in my town are rising. We're in the yellow, which means not good. We're not in the red yet, but if we are in the red, that's going to create a big problem. And then where I'm moving to, the COVID cases are also rising. I don't know like how bad they are because I haven't looked into it, but as far as I'm aware, they're not bad. So I've been streaming for an hour and a half at this point. We've gotten very off topic. So I just want to take this time that if any of you have any questions for me or about blindness or about my experience with blindness, that I will be able to answer those. And also, so there's this thing that I can do within StreamYard where I can show a comment on stream, which I just remembered. So I'm going to go back up to the comment that Troy made about how to get Aira access to a place. Is this it? Come from individuals who, that's not it. Okay. There we go. This is it. Show. There we go. All right. The comment is on screen for those of you who can see it that Troy had made. I'm going to read that again. Where anybody can help is either with advocacy on social media platforms, e.g. tweeting that you'd like to see at Aira at #brand, or by visiting aira.io/partners and contacting Aira via an email link. Can I like move this comment and make it not stupidly big? Because it's covering half my face. I have to like move back. Move my camera. There we go. We're better. I'm new to this part of StreamYard. I probably should have highlighted this comment an hour ago, but it's here now. We're fine. I do. What do you mean you do? Do you have a question? Please ask it. So anyway, I want to highlight that again. Aira has access at Starbucks. I was emailed that yesterday. It was under embargo until today. I don't know why that person forwarded it out to a giant mass email list, but that's not my problem. Today is White Cane Safety Day, White Cane Awareness Day, White Cane Day, whatever you want to call it. Normally, I would probably be at the State House right now in Massachusetts or coming home from it doing their event, but tomorrow it's virtual via Zoom. And if your state is doing something that you know of, I'd be very interested to hear it. And if you don't know if it is, Google it, because you should like maybe make an effort to show up. You know, the event that happens every year at the State House here in Massachusetts is comprised of a lot of blind people, both, you know, cane users and guide dog users. In the past, we have done a walk because the State House is right next to Boston Common, which is like a large park. And we've done a walk through the common. We didn't do that last year, but if you watched my vlog from last year, which is in the description of this video, if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. It is a really great way to bring awareness to blindness and to cane users and to guide dog users. And like, honestly, if you don't know what White Cane Day is, just look it up. It's important. We're here. Like, we need to be heard. And it's also like Blindness Awareness Month or Meet the Blind Month still. I'm going to hide this comment now again because that's been up for a while and it's covering half my face. It's Meet the Blind Month. Hi, I'm blind. Yeah. So, with that, I'm probably going to end this in a couple of minutes because I still have some things to do around the house. Probably edit the video that I shot yesterday. I got the October Munch Pack on Tuesday. It was delivered here, which was fantastic. And it was the right box this time, so we're good. And that was the video that I filmed yesterday. It was me doing an unboxing of it. So that will be up next week, like I said earlier. And then beyond that, I don't know. I'm probably not going to put a video up the week after because we're moving, and I doubt that I'm going to have any time. Nice to meet you. Shut up. For those of you who are not paying attention in chat, my boyfriend just said nice to meet you, making a joke. Oh, my goodness. The stream knocked me out, lol. You know what? It knocked me out too. I've been tired lately. I haven't been able to sleep as well as I usually do. I think I'm just really stressed out with the move. But anyway, Aira at Starbucks. Today is White Cane Day. It's Meet the Blind Month, which means that we're all blind and we're all here to be met. You know, there was something that I saw on Facebook. Actually, I don't think I shared it, but somebody did like a parody of Meet the Blind Month where they turned it around on sighted people and they called it Meet the Sighted Month. And they were like, this is going to be a month where all these sighted people have various meetings and exhibitions about how they use the technology that they use and how they go about doing X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. And I cannot for the life of me find this on Facebook. So I think that it is lost somewhere in the nether. But it was really funny to be able to see that turned back around on the able-bodied community because, you know, people don't really talk about disability in terms of like the inclusion space, which I've mentioned before. It's always people of color and LGBT people, but not people with disabilities, which is great. I meant I got knocked off of YouTube. Oh no, that's awful. I'm so sorry. But they always talk about people who are in the LGBT community and people of color as like being part of the inclusion space, and that's fantastic, and I think that there needs to be more to highlight that, but nobody talks about disability intersecting in that, when it sucks because like there are so many people, especially like, you know, Americans who are living with a disability, whether it's like a physical disability or like an invisible disability, like a chronic pain or a chronic illness or something. And I feel like that we're always swept under the rug. And then the blindness community on top of that is like the smallest community within the disability space. And there's still a lot that needs to be done. Like we talked earlier about rideshare companies and how there's like that whole, you know, there are issues with apps being inaccessible and with rideshare drivers denying people who have service dogs, which is not just blindness specific. There are people who have service dogs for other things. But it really sucks because like here we are, it's 2020 and technology has advanced so well for the better usually. And there are services out there like Aira and Be My Eyes that are so helpful and so fantastic, but the infrastructure still isn't there. And now, especially with COVID and having to socially distance, one of the reasons why they canceled ACB on top of it being within the best interest of the membership is because it's difficult for blind people to be able to socially distance, which is one of the things that Aira can help you with if you're out in a public space. But if you don't have that sighted assistance and you're out somewhere trying to socially distance, then like it can be difficult if you can't really see that well or at all. Hell, I was somewhere returning something. I was in line last week at Primark returning, exchanging something, and there was a guy in front of me who was sighted. I had my cane, and he was just not, he had no regard for socially distancing or anything. He wasn't even paying attention to his surroundings. And he just like walked right in front of me, like, and got very uncomfortably close to me to try and get something off of a rack that was next to me. And I just held my cane out like straight in front of me, like, stay this far away from me. I don't want you near me. And I couldn't really back up because there wasn't enough space for me to back up. Otherwise, I would have been too close to the person behind me. And my cane, I think, is like 4 feet long or something. So I don't know. It's COVID is tough. Well, and I can see the Switch a bit, so it'll be interesting when I get one. When you get one, what? Do you not have a you mean a capture card, or like what are you talking about when you get what? Also, I agree. Yeah. I don't know. Like I don't talk about it as often, but I feel like that we need to really like start discussing disability more in terms of like the broader diversity and inclusion discussion, because it's not talked about as much, and it needs to be, because like we're like the bigger minority here. Like we're there, even though there are a lot of people in the world living with a disability, it's still like the smallest minority group that there is. And then when you get into the different disability communities, they're even smaller. Like I said, like, I haven't fact checked this, but somebody told me that the blind community was the smallest community in the disabled community. Like smaller, like I think for every like 5 deaf people, there's 1 blind person or something, is what they said. But again, I haven't fact checked it. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. I should fact check that at some point. But like, it's just atrocious. Anyway, I said I was gonna go like 10 minutes ago. It's almost 4 o'clock. So with that, I am gonna go, and I know that the stream is a little bit delayed from chat here, that I can, from what I can tell. But I am gonna go. I really appreciate everybody sticking with me here throughout this stream. We did get a little off topic, but I think that the points were hammered home pretty clearly. Check out Aira Access at Starbucks if you are able to. If you're near a location that has it, or if you're in a city that has it, please give them the resources to continue that offer and push forward with it. And if you want to check out a White Cane Day event in your town or in your city, I highly recommend you doing that. Just Google it. I'm sure that people are doing things. Everything is virtually this year. White Cane Day is today, like this day, the 15th, right now. But usually states do events like this week. Some of them do it on this day. I know mine is doing it tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be there. But you don't have a Switch? I thought you had a Switch. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming to this stream. I will try to stream next week. I can't promise anything because I don't know what my schedule is ever. But definitely after this move is done, I'm hoping to have more consistent content up. But with that, I hope that you guys can all stay safe. Check out the Aira thing at Starbucks. Check out your local White Cane Day events. Try to attend them. And do what you can to support our community, because the more people who show up to them, the more they will, the more that, you know, the broader community will get the hint, like, oh, hey, like this is a thing that's happening. They sadly don't have anything like that here. That is very disappointing to hear. I am sorry. I know that not everywhere does events for White Cane Day. I only know that my state does it, and I'm pretty sure that a couple of others do because of people I know who live in other states. But last year actually was the first White Cane Day event that I had ever gone to. The other times that it was happening, I was in class in college, or I was working, or something conflicted with it. But last year I went and I spoke at the thing, and it was a really great event, and I was looking forward to doing it again this year because, you know, I'm here for it still, but obviously it's virtual So, I mean, it'll definitely be different. Somebody is going to be reading the proclamation. This person I know actually who's going to be reading it. But anyway, like I said, check those things out. And thank you guys for coming. And I will see you next time. Bye.